Within married life, affection can take many different forms. Because nerve endings are spread across the body, any tender touch upon your partner can be seen as an expression of love. Yet, this does not mean that all forms of touch carry the same meaning. Some gestures will bring far greater joy to your partner than others. And in truth, no book or teacher can guide you better than your partner themselves. After all, they are the one you long to cherish, the one you most desire to please. They know best what kind of touch reaches their heart as love. Do not insist on showing affection only in the ways that feel comfortable to you, at the times that suit you. Learn instead to speak the love language of your partner. There may be touches they find unwelcome. To persist with them is not to give love, but to send a very different message, one that says you are blind to their needs and careless with their desires. Never assume that what delights you will also delight the one you love. Some gestures of affection are clear and deliberate, demanding focus and attention, such as giving a back massage or the intimacy of the marriage bed. Others are subtle, fleeting, and almost hidden. A quiet embrace from behind while they prepare breakfast, a gentle kiss upon the forehead as they sip their morning coffee, the soft weight of your head upon their shoulder as you read together. There are gestures that will cost you time, not the time to perform them, but the time to learn how to do them well. If you know that a back massage speaks love to your partner, then perhaps you must invest your time, your money, and your energy into learning the art of massage. If physical intimacy is their love language, then exploring and speaking together about the art of lovemaking will allow your love to be felt more fully. These are not burdens, but investments, worthy and necessary. On the other hand, some gestures demand little of your time, yet much of your heart, especially if touch is not your natural language of love, or if you grew up in a family where affection was seldom shown. Simply sitting close together on the sofa while watching a favorite program requires no extra time, yet speaks volumes of love. Brushing lightly against them as you pass the day, planting the soft kiss as you leave for the day, or holding them tightly when you return. Each takes only seconds, yet each carries a meaning that lingers long after the moment has passed. Once you know that your spouse's love language is physical affection, you are free to let your imagination explore countless ways of showing love. Finding new gestures in new places can even become a delightful challenge. If you have never reached for your partner's hand across the table at a restaurant, try it. You may discover that it turns an ordinary meal into a tender memory. If holding hands in public feels unfamiliar, try it nonetheless, for something as simple as walking hand in hand across a car park can quietly fill your partner's love tank. A gentle hug before your wife leaves to go shopping is more than just affection. It may even draw her back home to you sooner. Explore new ways of showing affection in new settings and let your partner's response guide you. Always remember, it is your partner who decides whether your gestures are truly meaningful. You are, after all, learning to speak their love language, not your own. The culture of touch. Our bodies are not separate from who we are. To touch the body of another is to touch the person themselves. Distance of the body creates distance of the heart. In our society, a handshake is a symbol of openness and goodwill. If someone refuses to shake hands, it sends a message that the relationship is strained. Every culture has its own gesture of greeting. An American may feel uncomfortable with the embrace and kiss common in parts of Europe, yet for Europeans, that embrace is no different from a handshake. Every culture also sets boundaries around what forms of touch are deemed proper between the sexes. Scandals of sexual misconduct reveal just how devastatingly wrong some gestures can be. Yet within marriage, there is no universal rule. What matters is what the couple themselves decide is right and meaningful. Of course, any form of abuse is never acceptable, and many organizations exist to protect spouses from physical violence. Never forget, our bodies were created for affection, not for abuse. We live in an age that speaks of freedom and openness in matters of sexuality, and yet, even in our time, we cannot accept the thought of our spouse being physically intimate with another. Those who dismiss such behavior on moral grounds will, in the end, still resist it on emotional grounds. Something deep within us and our longing for love and intimacy will not permit us to share our spouse's affection with another. To see them embrace someone else is not just betrayal, it tears the soul. Psychologists could tell countless stories of men and women broken by the unfaithfulness of a partner. And for those whose love language is physical affection, the pain cuts even deeper. What they longed for most, tender love expressed through touch, is given to someone else. Their love tank is not only empty, but shattered. It can take years of patience, healing, and grace to mend such a wound. Affection in times of crisis. When crisis strikes, our instinct is to hold one another tightly. Why? Because touch speaks the language of love with the force that words cannot match. In moments of pain, what we need most is to feel loved. We cannot undo tragedy. We cannot erase loss, but we can survive if love surrounds us. Every marriage will one day face a season of crisis. The loss of a loved one is inevitable. Accidents claim thousands of lives each year. Illness spares no one. Disappointments come to every household. And in those moments, the greatest gift you can give your spouse is love. If your partner's love language is physical affection, then in the hour of their sorrow, nothing will matter more than holding them close as they weep.
There is nothing more important than holding your spouse when they are weeping. Words of comfort may help for a moment, but gestures of affection speak a language far clearer. They show the depth of your care. Every crisis carries within it an opportunity, a chance to express love in a way that will be remembered long after the storm has passed. Your tender touch will linger in their heart as a sign of love. And just as surely, if in those moments you were cold or distant, that too will never be forgotten. Marriage cannot go on like this. From my very first trip to West Palm Beach, Florida, many years ago, I have often been invited to lead seminars on marriage in that area. It was there that I met Joe and Maria. They were not originally from Florida, few people are, but after 10 years they had made it their home. They invited me to stay the night, and in my experience, such invitations usually mean that a couple is hoping for some late-night counsel. That evening, we had a delightful conversation. Joe and Maria appeared to be a happy couple, living a healthy and balanced life together. For a marriage counselor, such couples are rare treasures. I was eager to know their story and gently asked them to share it with me. Like many newlyweds, their early years were not easy. They had grown up in the same community, attended the same church, and graduated from the same high school. They shared a love of music, sport, and films. On the surface, they seemed to have all the common ground a couple might need for a smooth marriage. Their romance began in their final year of high school. Though they attended different universities, they saw one another often. Just 3 weeks after Joe earned his business degree and Maria completed her nursing studies, they were married. 2 months later, they moved to Florida, where Joe had secured a position at a well-known company. For the first 3 months, life was full of excitement, house hunting, moving in, and building their new life together. But after 6 months, Maria began to sense Joe slipping away. He spent longer hours at the office, and once home, he buried himself in his computer. When she told him she felt neglected, he dismissed her worries, saying he was simply trying to establish himself in his career. He insisted she did not understand the pressure he was under, or how important it was to succeed in his first year. Maria was not satisfied, but she chose to give him space. She befriended two women in their apartment complex and often spent time with them, especially on evenings when she knew Joe would be late. Sometimes she wasn't even home when he returned, and this angered him deeply. He accused her of being careless and irresponsible. Her reply was sharp. "Irresponsible? You don't even call to tell me when you'll be home. How can I be here to welcome you if I don't know when you're coming? And when you are home, all your time goes to that computer. You don't need a wife, you only need your machine." Joe shot back. "You don't understand, Maria. That's the problem. I need a wife. Don't you see? I need a wife." But Maria could not understand. She was bewildered. Searching for answers, she turned to books on marriage. Marriage cannot go on like this, she reasoned. She read late into the night while Joe worked on his laptop. Sometimes, when he saw her still reading, he would mock her with remarks like, "If you'd studied this hard in school, you'd have had straight A's." Maria would respond quietly, "I'm not in school anymore, Joe. I'm in a marriage. And right now, I'd be satisfied with a C." Joe would roll over and go to sleep without another word. By the end of their first year of marriage, Maria felt nearly hopeless. She had raised the issue many times before, but this time she approached Joe with calm resolve. "I'm going to see a marriage counselor. Will you come with me?"